Hey guys, it's the nichestbyler here, and I was just thinking today I wanted to talk about why exactly Byler would mean so much if it were to come to fruition. Because, I guess there's kind of this belief that people just like it because it's gay, or we have some sort of weird motivation, or that it's shallow. But I think it's the least shallow possible thing, and I'm going to explain why. The first thing that I wanted to say is that we understand what it's like to be in Will's shoes. I know, and many other people unfortunately know, how it is to love somebody that can never love you back, or not the way that you want. And while it is always going to be more common that you are going to end up on the receiving end of a huge disappointment, why would they do that? Why would they set up a show that is about, uplifting the underdog, supporting the outcasts and the freaks, just to show that we should always fear rejection and impossibility, that's all we have, that's what it comes down to? I just feel like it'd be such a backwards kind of narrative to spin, because what people don't understand, it's a show. It's not real life. When people say it would be unrealistic, do you know what's unrealistic? Monsters that eat children. Telekinesis, perhaps. It's just you don't have an issue with realism. You have an issue with gay people. And it's we're not allowed to call that out. But that's what it is. That's what that is. I just can't with the notion oh, it's unrealistic, so why do we care about realism? It's a show that involves monsters. Notice how I don't say it's a show about monsters, because this is the other thing. I'm just getting real cozy. This show is not just about monsters. I think this is the thing. When people talk about lack of media literacy, because okay, when people put motifs or symbols or what have you in a story, it doesn't mean just that. It just, when people say it's just about monsters, it makes me wonder if they've taken an English class. And I say this genuinely, not even to be facetious. I genuinely wonder if these are just 12-year-olds. But even then, because I don't know, it just makes me wonder if these people have not taken an English class, because very rarely is something written. I mean, I guess I won't say very rarely, but most stories have a deeper symbolic meaning or thematic messages that can be applied to something greater than what they are on the surface. Because I feel to me, Stranger Things has always been very multifaceted in what it represents. I thought, it evokes, especially what I've seen in season 5, it's evoking a lot of similar things for me that it did, where it's making a commentary on child abuse, and just the evil that it takes to prey on children. I think that's really, and people who are just now piecing this together, that it's kind of about grooming and pedophiles, you guys are just figuring this out now. I don't know about that, but of course it's, at least you guys are figuring that out at all. But that's what that's been to me. In the beginning, that was clearly really what it was. Especially the first 5 minutes of this season have made it glaringly obvious what this symbolizes, what this is allegorical of. So there's that. That was, I think, what definitely was at the start. And then as we progressed onto the seasons, I would say especially starting in season 3, you can tell that it's also about overcoming internalized homophobia, which again, people want to, like, honestly, I just think the way people want to dismiss it is just this eagerness to erase our lived experience and our feelings in the way that people refuse to show sympathy for it is exactly why the show exists. Like, the show, clearly, if you can't see this, the show is not for you, because if you can't understand, like, you don't have to empathize, but you could at least sympathize, you know? It's not easy. It never has been. And, you know, I get, like, I do experience, like, even my own parents have dismissed my personal struggles with this stuff because they're like, oh, well, it's so much easier for you now than it was in the 80s when I was in school. So why are you even scared? Why were you scared? Why did you feel this way? It's just never going to be easy. It's never going to be that simple. And, you know, I wish I could go back in time and see this. And I kind of, you know, I just think of seeing this season and the talk with Robin, the talk that Robin gave Will, has been huge for so many of us because it just cuts so deep, because we wish that we could have had that. And, you know, at that age, at 13, 14, 15, if I could have had that speech given to me, it would have been so powerful. And that's why it resonated so deeply with us, because that's what we wished we could hear. So the show for us is not just about monsters that are, you know, physical, but about our own internal tribulations, societal tribulations, because it's just never going to be easy. And, you know, props to the show for pulling this off so well, because, you know, they didn't have to do that. And it's just crazy to me how huge this has been, because people, even myself, at the beginning, really dismissed the importance of representation. But I think I was kind of just lying to myself, because it means so much to see somebody like you on screen. It's like a healing to see what they never got. So what I'm saying is that, you know, unfortunately, we all know what it's like to like somebody, love somebody that can't love you back the way that you love them. And it's like, okay, why would they uplift us and give us this hope and give such a powerful message just for it to be like, oh, ruh-roh, you guys lose again? You know, why would they do that? Because they know what the message they're sending. And I just don't know why they would send a message of like, oh yeah, you guys are always gonna lose. Like, it's just another reminder, you know? The show's fantasy, the show's not real. Therefore, it doesn't have to make sense to you guys. It doesn't have to make sense to the general population. But it should uplift and encourage and inspire those who the show was meant for. So that's really my piece on that, because it just frustrates me to see people continue to deny it and just see the show as something so surface level. Like, you clearly don't understand what this all symbolizes, and I don't think it's that hard to see. It's really not that hard to see. I think people just don't want to see it, and people just want to play it off and dismiss it and erase it like they will do before, they have done, and they are doing right now. And I'm talking on a large scale in the whole world. I know they're trying to erase. And, you know, I just think it's powerful. I think it's resistance. I think it's a statement to say, we've always been here, we are here, and we're going to stay here, and we're not going to let you dismiss us, we're not going to let you erase us. That is so powerful. And I don't think it's that complicated. I don't think it's that hard. I don't know why people would be against it. I don't know how anybody could think it was wrong, because it would be the most beautiful message that, you know, love conquers all. Love is what gave Will his powers. And it woke up so many people that weren't even really in the fandom that thought, oh, like, Mike would never like Will back. It woke so many people up, and people were like, okay, I see it now, I'm rooting for it. That's crazy. So to have one of the biggest shows in the world, loved by so many people, show a requited love like that would be insane, and it just would be so powerful and so great, and, you know, I'm totally here for it. So that's why I'm such a big fan. That's the relevance it has for me. And I know it has so many people in the fandom. And, you know, the clock has been taken for 3 years on this. So it just makes me happy because when I first watched season 4, I was in a much different place in my life. How old was I? 14? I was going into my freshman year of high school when it came out. And, you know, I'd always loved the show. I always kind of saw myself in Will. It's just as, thank God I didn't come up as tortured as he did, but just as like a shy, quiet, sensitive kid that kind of felt like I went through things that other people didn't understand. You know, I really saw myself in him. And in season 4, it hit really close to home because I've had those feelings and they're not for the faint of heart. And just to see the way everything happened in the show, I just, like, it was, even though of course it was sad and horrible the way Will was treated, it still really said something to me that, like, they're doing this. Like, a big show is showing how this feels. And it was then, like, the first moment that I saw that they made it super clear Will's feelings. That was the second I knew that it was gonna happen, because when they introduced that and didn't immediately shut it down, I knew that's where they were going, because I don't know. And that was huge for me, to see something that big represent a part of me. That's huge. I'm sorry, I wish I had better words. I keep saying, this is huge, this is insane, this is powerful. But I mean, it really is. That's the way that I feel. And so it's just really, I don't know, it's really sentimental, because I had that, I was starting my freshman year of high school, I was like 14. I was having all these conflicts. I hadn't told a lot of my friends, I hadn't told my family. I had barely accepted myself yet. And, you know, I saw Will, like, dealing with all the struggles, and I was like, wow, this is really representative of me. Now I am going to be 18 in a few days. Oh my God, crazy. I'm going to be 18 in a few days. I'm in my senior year of high school, and I've truly accepted myself. I tell my friends, my family, everybody knows, and I'm ready for, like, the next stage in my life, and the next stage, like, romantically. And to see kind of the characters following that same arc has been really beautiful to me, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little thoughts on why this is so big for me, and I'll see you in the next one.